Ladies and gentlemen, Tory Lanez's lawyer submitted a motion for a new trial. This is huge. I made a video previously called 5 Reasons Why Tory Lanez Had an Unfair Trial. I was really disturbed by what I heard, and I was even more disturbed by a lot of people on YouTube and how they were reacting. In particular, there were attorneys on YouTube who were just outright dogging Tory Lanez and saying things that made absolutely no sense. Their bias and their emotional manipulation to what Megan was saying was showing so much. If you actually followed this case, like I followed this case, I could not understand how could people see that this is not an unfair trial. So I made my videos. I heard that he got a new attorney. The new attorney was actually saying that mistakes were made during the trial. And some of these attorneys were saying, well, there's only a small possibility that he might say this, he might say that, that there's a chance that it could get overturned, but there only might be a couple of reasons that he could use. This attorney came with an 80-page document. I had 5 reasons why. This man must have had like 500 reasons why Tory Lanez had an unfair trial. And I'm so pissed that this is happening at the same time that Donald Trump is having his fake trial, unfair trial against him. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I call it like it is. This is bullcrap. Nevertheless, it's happening at the same time. So all these outlets that were dogging Tory Lanez and defaming him, they can actually just focus on the Trump story and hope that nobody notices what's going on right here. But I'm going to be talking about it. I'm definitely going to be talking about it. I read so far 25 pages out of this 80-page document. And the things that this attorney is pointing out is not no light stuff. He's going into heavy reasons why this was an unfair trial. The prosecution in California, they were doing things dirty. And he mentioned that they were using ambush tactics. They were suddenly in the day before coming up with new charges. They were not letting the defense know what evidence they were going to be using in court and just suddenly springing it on the defense. The judge was not supposed to allow this to happen because the defense could not properly address it. For example, the Instagram posts. Milagro-grams, you got to give a shout out to Milagro-grams. A lot of these ladies were female. Female attorneys on YouTube were dogging out Milagro-grams, saying that she's not trustworthy, she's not accredited. And they were going to this white lady, and what's the white lady's name? Megan Cuniff and somebody else, and taking what she was saying. Milagro-grams was the one that pointed out that the Instagram post that the police detective came with, where they said that it appeared that Tory said Kelsey didn't shoot Megan. They never traced where did this text come from. Tory's not the only person that runs his channel. There's someone else who runs his channel. That person posted that. Milagro-grams called it that it was sloppy police work, sloppy investigation. They wasn't supposed to do that. They were supposed to actually check and find out where the IP address come from. So in this 80-page document, the lawyer brought out even more. He said, this is unfair because they didn't even let the defense know they were coming with this evidence. And the defense had no choice, but what Milagro said the defense did was say, hey, did you check to see if this came from Tory's phone? Did you check the IP address? The officer said no further questions. Now that was a pretty good defense. But again, you have an impressionable jury there. What the document said was, you sprung this on the defense at the last minute. They did not get a chance to go and get the person who actually posted it and bring him in court and let him testify before the jury that he did it. So the jury would not say, so the jury would not only say they can't prove he did it, but they could also say this man is admitting to doing it. To to make Tory exempt from that accusation in their minds. So there was so many things this attorney went through when you read this document. He has lists of stuff and is linking it to previous trials and what this code says and what that code says, and how the court made a mistake in doing this, the court made a mistake in doing that. The prosecution was trying to set Tory up with this. And if you read these things step by step, it is insane. One thing I want to point out is Tory Lanez's attorney, Sean Hawley. They actually started bringing up false accusations against Sean Hawley before the trial started, to the point where she had to step away from the case because of all the negative things they brought against her. By doing this, Tory Lanez was left with the other two attorneys. And these attorneys were male. They said it was a part of his strategy to have a female attorney represent him, because this was being painted and being spun as a domestic violence case. It was not actually a domestic violence case. It's a case where a whole lot of drunken people were screwing around and doing some other stuff, and Megan ended up injured. But Megan is telling the public, this is domestic violence. He shot me. He this, he that. Believe black women, right? Tory had to keep his mouth shut for a long time. So people, when it comes to domestic violence, people, and then please don't be offended by what I'm about to say, but a lot of times when it comes to cases of domestic violence, women do not want to hear what's going on. Look at Johnny Depp, for example. Johnny Depp's whole career was destroyed by what Amber Heard had said about him. And people just automatically believed it. It wasn't until recently, when he sued and he came with the evidence and proved that she was lying, people started to see that this woman was messed up. The subject of violence being committed against women is so serious and so sensitive and so emotionally impactful. Some women, no matter what you say to them, no matter how much evidence you show, no matter what, they're gonna side with Megan. And that's what I was seeing by a lot of women on YouTube. First of all, the jury was 8 women and 4 men. When a man questions a woman on the stand a certain way, they take offense to it. Like, how dare you say that? But if it's a woman questioning, it might have had a difference. So I'm going to be going over this stuff later, because, you know, this is what I've really been wanting to cover for some time. And on April 10th, it's supposed to be his sentencing date. I really hope he gets a new trial, especially after reading this document. The amount of crooked stuff the prosecution did and the amount of mistakes that the judge made that wasn't supposed to be done. Guys, when Kelsey was given the immunity deal on the stand, she was pleading the fifth still. I'm hearing, because I read it and I didn't fully understand it, but I'm hearing people say that one of the things that the attorney said was she pled the fifth, and she was not supposed to because she has immunity. The court was not even supposed to allow her to do that. There's so many things that went south in this case. And let me say this real quick. I don't know if Tory did it or not. What I do know is that this man did not have a fair trial. They didn't test everybody for DNA. They only tested him when there's 4 people in the car. Megan Thee Stallion is saying she was shot in the foot, but there's no bullet fragments. The hospital lost it. They go to get the x-ray. The x-ray don't show bullet fragments. They say a metallic, not metal, metallic fragments. This is crazy. So I'm just dropping this real quick. I definitely want to cover the story more and bring more attention to it. All right, peace.